Okay, welcome to another episode of Hanging in the Basement with your host, John Henry Sheridan. And today I have a guest, a relatively new friend of mine, Sam Daniele. Welcome, Sam.
Happy to be here.
Cool. So I met Sam at a climate cafe that he hosted in the summer. And my wife Yoko had told me about it. I believe she went to one before that, and she said it's a very cool event. Met some really cool people. So I joined, and I was, yeah, I felt like I was in good company, with people, like-minded souls, and open hearts, and like you said at that meeting, I don't know if you use the word support group, but it's kind of like this
Yeah.
place we could all, right, yeah, freely share with one another how we feel, mainly concerning climate issues, which is it's a theme that we all hear about at some point if you live in this modern world. Anyways, that's how Sam and I met, and we've been in contact now and again. Recently, I saw a really awesome rock show that Sam hosted uh, in Garrettson Beach, right? Um, and I get to see this band Screwbawl for the first time, and then I connected with Rob Manetta from Screwball through that. So yeah, so thanks Sam for being a mover and a shaker in the local Marine Park neighborhood. Bringing people together through your efforts. So this can go in so many different ways. But I'm just going to start off with something really light and just say, hey, what's your favorite color, Sam?
Probably blue or purple.
Yeah. Okay. What? Why blue or why purple?
Well, I like blue because, like the sky's blue, it's found in like nature a lot. But I also like green too, for that reason.
What about purple?
Um, I don't know. I I honestly don't know why. I guess I just like it.
Yeah, I have right now both. I have two screens here, and both are just pure purple background. So I could definitely identify with you on that. Something about it's very soothing. Has that like royal element, or also has some sort of religious, spiritual overtones to it, and
Yeah.
I love it. It's a great color. Um, what about a favorite number? Do you have a number that you just kind of gravitate towards?
Probably 24.
Ooh, okay, you're right on that. So what's up with 24?
Well, I was born on April 24th, so, you know, for
Okay.
that reason.
Yeah, I think it's probably not uncommon that people like their birth number. I do. I probably might say my birth number, 22, is my favorite number. Probably also because Yoko, my wife, is 22, so it's like a double thing. And then I like two. I like balance, right? And then two. It works out. 24 is cool. I mean, you got Christmas Eve is also 24, right?
Yeah.
Uh, Two plus four is six. Four minus two. I don't know. It's got a really very sort of square, even number. I like it. Um, so yes, I invite you to just share with us on this podcast anything about your journey thus far to who you are today that you'd like to. I have a couple of different topics and conversations we could jump into, but feel free to just introduce yourself and let people know who you are.
Okay. Yeah, so my name is Sam Daniele, and I'm a community organizer here in Marine Park. I founded the Marine Park Young Adults Association, which operates as a social club for young adults ages 18 to 35 in the neighborhood, Marine Park, Brooklyn. And also throughout Southern Brooklyn too. We've been getting a lot of young adults from throughout Southern Brooklyn. Like even for example, like the uh one of the treasurers. He's from Bensonhurst. He's been with me since the start. We get people from Canarsie, Garrettson Beach, Sheepshead Bay, Flatbush. So it was really, it's called Marine Park Young Adults, but it was really created to bring people, you know, to bring young adults from all throughout Southern Brooklyn. And we've been meeting at Marine Park Coffee. We first started doing movie nights, game nights, trivia, karaoke, just to really give, to give back and to allow young adults to meet each other and to also do some volunteer projects. We often volunteer with the Marine Park Alliance, Friends of the Lot House, NYC Parks Department, and some other nonprofits as well. And as John brought up, we also run Climate Cafe South Brooklyn, which it's a part of the Marine Park Young Adults Association, Inc. We're officially a nonprofit with the state of New York. I have plans to file us as a 501(c)(4) social welfare, uh, tax exempt with the IRS. But Climate Cafe, it's called the DBA, a doing business as. So it operates under the same name as Marine Park Young Adults Association. Um, but it's pretty much like its own program within the organization, and it welcomes people of all ages. And that the point of a climate cafe too, it's to really, you know, like, John said too, it's almost like a support group, to gather, talk about climate change, how it makes you feel, and what we could do about it as a community.
Yeah. So to take on that sort of leadership role and the complexities of going through making something a nonprofit, which I've looked into that over my years, and I never went that route, but I know it's not simple. What kind of burning, inspiration drove you to this? Like, what of your life experience made you want to be that guy that is gonna take these steps to bring people together in like a official way?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we didn't have to file as a nonprofit. That was just kind of something that I wanted to do. Um, I guess you could say to bring a little more like validity to what we're doing here in Southern Brooklyn. Um, and also just for like, grants, funding and stuff like that. Because we do have a membership structure. So we have members who pay dues each year, and that's where most of the funding from our organization actually comes from. Because we have our events at Marine Park Coffee, and I pay Nick, the owner, a certain amount, and we, just rent it out for the night, and that's where we do our movie nights and game nights, stuff like that. But I also wanted to start it because, just having grown up in Marine Park, just, really seeing that there's for people my age particularly that, there's just really not a lot, just, really like, like not a lot to do, in my opinion. You could go to the city or, you could go to like a bar, or like downtown Brooklyn or whatever, but just to, just to stay in the neighborhood and, just do some, movie nights and game nights, just to really just have a chance to connect with people. I didn't really see that something like that existed. So, that's why I started it.
Cool. Yeah, and I don't know if you want to tell us your age, but I'm assuming somewhere in your 20s. Is that right?
Yeah, 25.
25. Okay. Yeah, because I know, I mean, I'm 44, so growing up in Marine Park as a teenager in the 90s, there was definitely less of that as a sort of a problem because I don't know, just kids were out and about more and a lot of hanging out in other people's basements and in the park. But now you just don't see that. I know if I observe the neighborhood in the past 10 years or so, yeah, it does seem like what the heck are you gonna do if you're a young kid? And yeah, there's always going to the city or bar, but it is a shame in a way that there's nothing to do just with the people in your neighborhood. Yeah, it did seem like it became harder to just know the young people nearby in my perspective. So to see that this some type of thing like this is going on, young adults association, I was like, wow, that's pretty cool, you know, because why not? Why shouldn't we know each other as neighbors? Especially young people. So
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think COVID had like a lot to do with that,
hmm,
just, because we have all this technology, but a lot of people still say that we're more, divided than ever. And I think that that's true in like a lot of ways. technology keeps on improving, but people themselves, it's also due to the lack of like a third space, which would be like a coffee shop, just a place like other than work or school where you could just, meet and, and just have like a connection with your neighbor, like you said.
Hmm. Yeah, I think back like when I was a teen, it was more like acceptable to kind of, I don't know, I don't want to say break the rules, but to just kind of push the boundaries more. I sense, I feel. So like we didn't have that third space unless you were lucky enough to have one of your friends whose parents were cool enough to let you stay in the basement or whatever, which my mom was that person. She let us hang out. But yeah, I don't see it as much in recent years, and it's weird. It's a weird societal thing. You got work, you got school, you got home. What about those open spaces where people gather and converse? And the coffee shop is like the ideal venue for that, really. Um, at least in a like a conceptual way. Um, when Marine Park Coffee came, I was just excited. And then I saw the young adult stuff going on, like because I'm always on MUS and seeing. I'm like, man, this is good. And I always wanted a coffee shop in MUS. I really did because I'm a coffee drinker. So it's like got to walk to Dunkin' Donuts when I was younger, or there's this Donut Connection place, and then you to
Oh
have a
yeah, I remember that.
remember that Donut Connection? Yeah, to have a good coffee shop with like nice people and community things happening. Like when I go to Marine Park Coffee, I sometimes feel like I'm in a small town upstate New York or something. It has that type of slowed down vibe, not that hustle bustle. You go to Starbucks in the city somewhere. It's different.
And
So
and it's also better than Starbucks too, in my
yeah,
opinion.
yeah, yeah, I would agree. I certainly prefer to be there anyway. And
Yeah.
Starbucks is strong for my taste. Um, so I'm curious, as your vision going forward and just in your life, it doesn't have to be with the organization or not, but what are some things that you think you personally would like to learn in the future and that could branch into like what you think maybe your generation might benefit from learning going forward, in terms of whatever, like maybe something that's different than previous generations, what might you be interested in learning as you go forward in your life?
Yeah, so I majored in cybersecurity at St. John's for my bachelor's degree. And now just, with like technology everywhere and AI and stuff, I think that it's because there's like a lot of talk about AI taking people's jobs, and I don't really think that that's true in like a lot of ways. I mean, yes, there have been like a lot of layoffs, people do lose their jobs, they'll like outsource them. Um, but I think that people, especially my age, should really learn how to utilize AI to complement their work, because I don't think it's going to be AI taking it. I think it's going to be the people who know how to use AI better and other, you know,
Mhm.
like tools too.
Sure. Yeah. Right. It's not like, yeah, yeah. My view on AI is basically it's a tool, and depends on the wielder. Who's wielding the tool, and if you have someone with a healthy mindset and good intentions, AI could really amplify that. You know. Yeah, I'm not afraid of it one way or the other, but I know it's a powerful tool, just like a cutting, a cutting knife. You got to be careful where you put that knife. You don't put it around kids who are uh, don't know about it, or drunk people. You got to make sure you keep the tool safe where people know who are conscious and careful. So yeah, I think AI has a lot of power, but yeah, I wouldn't say it's bad. I wouldn't say it's inherently good either. It's just a tool and how we choose to interact with it.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be like, like Terminator either, like AI taking over, you
Yeah.
know. I don't really believe in that.
No, I agree. Yeah, and I would tend to agree that from my perspective, of course, people could list all sorts of uh, facts or reports or whatever, but it doesn't seem to me like AI is going to be taking everyone's job, or I don't know. Yeah, I think that's an oversimplification anyway. Um, so you would say for yourself and for others, it would be wise or maybe interesting to learn how to use AI better or as much as
Yeah,
possible.
you know, even if you don't work in, because I mean, professionally, I work in cybersecurity. So, I mean, I use AI, day to day for like various things. But even if you're not working in like IT or whatever, I think it could certainly be helpful if you know how to use, like something, whether if it's ChatGPT or Gemini, Grok, you know, whatever.
Have you had any like eye-opening wow moments using AI?
Um, I think it's more advanced than a lot of people think, you know.
Hmm.
But it's also, I think that's it's limited factor too, because you could tell ChatGPT to write something for you, but it will spit something out. But 9 out of 10 times it's not going to be accurate, you know?
Okay. Yeah, my friend who's a computer guy, was kind of describing how AI developed. Fascinating conversation, and also that something that is possible with AI is hallucinations. Is that a term that you're familiar with? Where like it gets so much data that it's working with, it becomes more finessed and more complex, and the answers become richer. But then sometimes, like for example, with a Tesla or a self-driving car, it'll make a silly mistake, like just like bash into a another vehicle sometimes, and they can't explain why. So it's like somehow all the data is still leaving these holes. Like a human wouldn't do that, but this AI, it's not a human, so it doesn't have that something that we have, and we don't know which piece of data, though they don't know which piece of data would fill in that thing that's causing the hallucination. Does that make any sense, or have you heard anything like that?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of it has to do with like with like the training data. So like the specific data that these models are being trained on.
Mm-hmm.
So, if there's any like discrepancies or errors or anything like that in the information that is actually feeding the
Mm-hmm.
AI language model, it could definitely cause something like that.
Mm-hmm. Interesting, interesting stuff. I heard of this one of these spiritual leader guys that I follow on YouTube, that him and his wife wrote a book with AI, and they credited, they gave it a name, or then it gave itself a name, I don't know, and they credited the AI as a co-author. Probably the first time it's been done. I don't know. Like, of course, people write books with AI, but they actually gave this guy a credit, this AI embodied entity, whatever you want to call it, a credit. And they said it was just really fascinating how AI began to kind of like a baby, like it started to, if you ask it the right questions, the AI can give answers as if it's really has its own thought process. They seem to feel that anyway. You know, can you imagine something like that happening?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, probably the thing that I'm concerned most about now I mean, particularly AI, is just like the misinformation, especially with like SAR now and like the videos. I mean, I don't know if you've seen them on like Facebook or Instagram or whatever.
Yeah, so your concern is misinformation being fed into AI.
Well, rather people using AI to generate videos for them that seem real, but they're not actually real.
I see. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, and that'll always be a potential for humanity, just to create lies, right? Or webs of lies that to try to pull the wool over people's eyes and manipulate. It's nothing new. It's just a new brand of, or layer of how complex and tricky it could be, I suppose. Um, so what about travel? Is travel something you've gotten to do much in your life, or do you aspire to it, or not interested at all?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, the last place that I went to was London last year. It's my first time
Mhm.
going to the UK. That was nice. I've been to Iceland before. It's part of the reason I chose the Northern Lights as my background. I mean, I didn't see them, but I've just always thought that they were cool. And I've went to Ireland too.
Oh, all right, nice. All those islands up up in the Atlantic Ocean there. Um, so what was Iceland like?
Well, I mean, it's cold for starters, even in the summer.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, the people are nice. The food is pretty good. It's just very expensive though. It's one
Mm,
thing I didn't really like.
yeah. It's an island and it has a pretty high standard of living, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. I just an off a tangent on Iceland. I read a book one time called something about bliss, the geography of bliss, maybe it was, and it's about this New York Times, I think, uh, like a popular writer, journalist who decided to go to a number of countries. I don't know how many, a lot, probably at least 15 or something, and see what is the happiest country. It's kind of a silly question, but he thought if he pursued this question, you'd get a good book out of it, and he did. And he went to a number of places, but Iceland was one of them. And I think he defined Iceland as like it might have been one of the happiest countries, and in his estimation, and it was because people don't like compete with each other there. It's like, oh, I'm really I have this great I don't know this great thing I accomplished, and the friend would just be like, okay, you want to have a beer? It's like nobody cares about your accomplishment. Somehow there's something to that effect is what he, and it's not in a bad way. It's just like we're just gonna be living here in Iceland, so it's just another day. There was this some sort of like everything's even keel. I don't know if you noticed that with anything about Iceland that it was non-competitive or something like that.
I mean, do you think that would have to do with the government since it's not really like capitalist as much as the US?
Yeah, probably, and it probably has something to do with that. Like Japan has, because they're an island and they face earthquakes and natural disasters and limited supplies of things, they kind of know how to really pull together and work as a team, kind of. They're like a teamwork country in a way. So I think also the geography of Iceland being it's an island, I mean, it's cold and definitely in the winter it's very cold, I imagine. It kind of gives people like, hey man, no matter how cool you are, how fancy you are, you still got to endure this dark winter like the rest of us. So don't think you're top cat because we all just got to get through this. I don't know. That was kind of the sense I have that it's just the life is kind of rough and uh, mainly because of the climate and that they're an island that they know that they're dependent, you know, that there's less of that sense of individual pride, let's say. I think that was kind of maybe the key. I don't know. It's just a fun detail. Made me think of Iceland. My mom went to Iceland once when she was on the way to Norway, because we're Norwegian, my family, in the 70s. And she didn't like it. She said it smelled like sulfur and I don't know. But it was just her like, she was like there one day or something like that. But I would certainly be interested in going. Um, and what about London or England? What'd you think of England?
Um, yeah, I mean, it was nice. I mean, it felt like New York, honestly.
Yeah, were you there for a while?
Yeah, I mean, I was there for like a week.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I definitely know what you mean about that. I was in London twice, and I was it was a while ago. I was in London 99 and 2000, and it did feel like something pretty close to New York. Although, the buildings were not as tall and it wasn't quite as noisy or probably equally as dirty maybe at the time. But uh yeah, impersonal, like New York, right? But also very metropolitan. Uh, yeah, okay, I hear you saying. Um, Anywhere else in UK or just London that trip?
Yeah, so the last time I just went to London, but I did go to Northern Ireland before, Belfast.
Oh, mm. So is it? Do you have Irish blood in you?
Yeah.
So is that part of connecting with that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like Northern Irish going back. I mean, from the Republic,
hmm
but it was on like a whole tour of like, of the Republic and Northern Ireland too.
Oh, cool. So did you feel that sort of like lingering tension in Northern Ireland, or not so much?
I mean, not really. I mean, based on like what they were saying on the tour, there's not really as much tension like there was. You
hmm
know, they're just kind
Yeah,
of, I guess content with each other now, you could say.
that's great. Yeah, no, I know the last uprising was a while ago. I think 90s was the last time it happened or something. But yeah, certainly it's a part of the history. Um, did you notice a difference between the culture of Northern Ireland and the Republic or Ireland?
Um, I mean, not really, you know.
Yeah. It felt like the same country to you, basically.
Yeah, I mean, other than like the money being different.
hmm Cool. Yeah, I hear Irish people are. I mean, my family is part Irish, but I haven't been to Ireland. I hear it's like a very friendly place. People want to talk, are willing to talk, and you know, they're pretty sharing and they're open. I don't know if did you experience that?
Yeah, um, yeah, I mean, definitely like, like the people were, friendly.
Cool. Yeah, so that's one place definitely got to get to. I've been to Norway many times because that's my mother's family, and my dad's side was Irish, and but yeah, he passed away young, but he didn't have much a connection to Ireland anyway. So he did go one time, and he met like his I don't know aunt or great aunt or something in like a small hut that was kind of like used. They used a fireplace. I think like the roof was like made of straw or something, like really old school. Like their car got stuck and in the mud when they went to this little village, and like the grandma came out and like helped them push the car out, like that type of old school hardy people. Yeah, Ireland fascinates me. I definitely see a connection between Ireland and Italy, not just because our neighborhood is filled with Irish and Italian, which was definitely the case when I grew up, maybe less so now, but like Ireland has this history of warring clans, right? There's so many little pockets of kingdoms in Ireland and the history, and this clan would think it was superior and want to take a little more space, and then the other rivaling clan or kingdom and these chieftains they would fight each other and Italy when I learned the history of Italy it was kind of similar. There's a bunch of little kingdoms, and then there's the sort of king, or I don't remember a particular word, but the lord of that area would want more power, and then these like little fiefdoms or kingdoms within what we call Italy now were battling Rome and Naples. These were different, essentially like countries at the time, different kingdoms, and then eventually there was this sort of unification, but a bumpy one. So I think that happened with both countries, and then there's that interesting reality that they both Ireland, well, Ireland because of the potato famine mainly in 1850s or something like that. They just people couldn't eat anymore, and they fled to the U.S. because it seemed like there was a possibility that something better could be there. And at Italy, I don't know exactly, maybe a little bit later, the turn of the century, 1900s, or I'm sure there's a big window, but they felt like there was not a life for them there. They were poor, and people you couldn't trust the government or you couldn't trust the police or whoever was. So they just wanted to get out of there. And America had this open door policy really, and they can get in there, and if your uncle's there, they can get you in or something. Then there's these Little Italy, and Ireland had its own community, and then they bumped heads for a long time, Irish and Italian, probably because they're similar, right? And then eventually Irish and Italians married each other, and that's a common thing nowadays. But I don't know, just something I observe. Are you also part Italian?
Yeah. So yeah, I'm like, like mostly Italian.
Okay, yeah. And have you been to Italy?
No, it's definitely one of the countries that I want to go to.
Yeah, yeah, me too. I hear the food is fantastic.
Yeah, that's like probably like the one thing I'm like looking forward to most.
And I know the countryside is beautiful from whenever I've seen movies there or pictures from there. Um, so I'm curious, what about music? Are you a fan of music?
Yeah. I mostly listen to like hip hop. So like,
Really?
Kendrick Lamar, Kanye West, like stuff like that. But I also
Really?
like rock, like Stones, the Beatles, Led Zeppelin, Nirvana.
Okay. So kind of like classic rock, maybe. I mean, classic rock is a funny thing because it just kind of means rock that's more than 25 years old or something. But like the classic typical names, those are like all the big names in rock, really. So you like those and hip hop, huh?
Yeah.
What is it that attracts you to hip hop?
Um, I just like the music, especially with like Kanye. I mean, I know he's very controversial, and he's kind of like a shitty person. I mean, I fully admit that. He's definitely said some like he was like anti-Semitic for like a very long time, just like saying stuff like that. But today I saw he met with like a rabbi apparently to, I guess he's on his like, because he's like, I guess he's like on his medicine because I know he's bipolar.
Ah, okay. Yeah, it makes sense then. I mean, it's not like you want to just dismiss it like, oh, well, he's bipolar, he can say whatever he wants. But if you factor it in, you could say, all right, maybe he's just saying some crazy ass shit because yeah, I have a few bipolar friends, one in particular I could think of that she said some nasty things to me over and over again, but then she's sweet as the sweet angel afterwards. So I can't write her off because I know that's not really her when she's mean like that. So maybe Kanye is a little bit similar.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, I just like the music, especially like his older music, you know,
Interesting.
because to me, not, a lot of people like dismiss him as an artist, but I always ask them, have you actually listened to like any of his music? And 9 out of 10 times it's like no. But anything from like the College Dropout, which is like his first album, or Late
Mm,
Registration, which is his second, and Graduation, which is his third, they're all pretty much to me just like classic hip hop from the early 2000s.
wow, that's cool that you say that. Just because I've never really had a defender of hip hop on my podcast anyway, or really in person. Um, and I don't know how much of it is a race thing. I'm open to having conversations of music with anybody, but uh, so my aversion to hip hop is that I'm very sensitive to lyrics, and I can't help but pay attention. So it's very rare that I've encountered hip hop, and I've searched and I've asked people, right, give me a list, I'll check it out, of hip hop songs, rap songs that you would consider positive, or at least at the very least neutral. And it's a very short list. I mean, maybe I'll challenge you if you can come up with 10, 12 songs that are neutral or positive in the hip hop genre. It's hard, but
Yeah. Yeah.
so that's what turned me off. It does come across as negative, whether it's just bragging or like threatening or like I'm the best, so you better watch out or I'll slap you or sexualizing women, which of course rock does too. But I don't know. Sometimes it seems like in rap and hip hop that they mean it or something, where rock it seems a little bit more like just the act or something to me.
Yeah. I mean, I could give you an album. I mean, Jesus is King is an album by Kanye, and it's actually gospel rap.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Let
It's
me write that
entirely
down.
like it's not really like derogatory. I think it's it's pretty clean.
Cool. All right, that's good to know. Jesus is king. And I have to say, I know what you're talking about, that Kanye is very controversial, and I know a lot of people would readily say, "Oh, yeah, whatever," and kind of dismiss him. But I remember when that album came out, the College Dropout, was that the first one?
Yeah.
I guess it was Stronger. Was that his first hit or one of the early ones?
That was on Graduation on his third
Okay.
album.
Oh, okay. What was it? Do you know what his first hit, or maybe one of his first few hits would be called?
Um, yeah, on the college dropout, so like Jesus Walks is probably one of them. And I
Okay.
mean that's also like also some tracks on the college dropout I would say are clean too, you know.
Oh, all right, cool. Um, yeah, but when I heard Stronger, I thought that was cool. And even though he was whatever, over the top maybe, uh, I respected it because besides like say Eminem, which a few years before that, no rap really impressed me. Not that I like Eminem, but his rapping style is so unique and
I
clever, and
like him. His older
I
music at
understand.
least.
Sure, yeah, yeah. I mean, I definitely appreciate it. I don't want to listen to it because again, it is kind of negative, more or less, to me. But the skill is very phenomenal, and as a lyricist, it really intrigues me how he winds words in the webs that he creates. Very unlike anyone else I've ever heard, except obviously copycats of him. But yeah, then Kanye came around, and I heard I just as I'm a composer, I went to music college for composition. I'm a songwriter, lyricist, poet. So when I heard the way Kanye was using, well, first Eminem, but then Kanye, I was like, wow, this guy's bold. And the music, I think Stronger was the music was from another artist. Do you remember which artist that was? Daft Punk. It was a Daft Punk.
Yeah, yeah.
But the way he played with it and the words, I was like, that's freaking cool, man. It was almost rock. It didn't sound like rock, but it had that. It rocked. It was powerful.
I
So yeah,
mean,
he impressed me.
if you want, Kanye, he actually, I don't know if you ever heard of it. Yeezus it's a album by him, and it's almost like a rock. I think Paul McCartney actually worked with him on it.
Oh, yeah. What was that called? Jesus?
Yeezus.
Jesus.
Yeah. I mean,
It's funny.
it's kind of like heavy metal, like almost rock rap. It's a very interesting record, and I think it was ahead of its time, honestly. Like well, when it first came out, a lot of people thought it was like really bad, but in hindsight, I think it aged like a fine wine.
Hmm. Cool. Yeah, it's cool to hear that. Yeah, I'll put those recommendations in the show notes as well if anyone wants to follow up on that.
Oh
Um,
yeah, another good one is 808s and Heartbreak. Like talk about like clean records by Kanye, because I think it was right after his mom passed. So he was like very depressed on it, and it's probably one of his most realist albums, honestly.
yeah. So Jesus is King, College Dropout, Yeezus, and 808s and Heartbreak.
Yeah.
Those are all albums.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'll listen to some of that stuff. Um, it was yeah, because I there was a year that I taught high school. I was a high school music teacher at a high school in East New York, Brooklyn, which is a fairly rough neighborhood, and the kids were kind of wild. They were all one on one, they were great, but when they were together, the group think mentality, it was just. And then the principal, I'm not a fan of her. Kind of like a yeah. I gotta watch my words. I mean, not like she's watching, but it wasn't. It wasn't the. I mean, it was a long time ago, but I don't want to create any negative karma. But it wasn't a great experience. But it was a great experience, right? But it wasn't something I would want to live through again. Put it that way. It was great in what I learned from it. But anyway, at that time, I'm like, all my students listen to rap, hip hop, soca, because like some Caribbeans or Dominican Republic, so whatever those kind of genres are, and from those cultures, almost none listen to rock. Almost everyone kind of would hear pop a little bit, of course, on the radio and whatever. But so I just did a deep dive in hip hop and rap, trying to find something that I could teach and feel good about. And it was so hard, man. I listened to so much stuff. I mean, anything that was kind of relatively positive was corny, like some that maybe the kids wouldn't like crisscross can make you jump, that song. It,
Yeah.
that's kind of clean, um, but there were MC Hammer, that's clean. Vanilla Ice, for the most part, is clean, but that's not something that most lovers of the genre are gonna deeply appreciate.
I mean, what about like Tupac? I mean, I know he had some like clean records.
Tupac was the next person I was gonna mention. So Tupac, no man, he had a couple of clean songs, but as far as a whole record, I couldn't I couldn't find more than like three songs that were what I could consider like a good role, that I could approve. Like I'm going to teach young people this music. I couldn't. It was just a lot of it was show offy, a lot of it was bragging and violent. Even though he was kind of like anti-violent with some songs too. But like this, the ode to his mother was beautiful. Um, I can't really name any other songs that didn't have a little bit of a twist of like something sour, you know. But they were hopeful, and they certainly give people hope who live in maybe in a rough situation. He said he's from the ghetto, and a lot of people in the ghetto probably listen to him and say, "Okay, this guy got out of it, and he's inspirational." And you know, representing how you can like stand up and make something of yourself. But I'm telling you, man, if you find them, if you go and do some homework and you find some really positive Tupac songs, send them to me. But
I mean, I don't even listen to him. I just brought him up.
yeah, yeah, you would think so. There's something about Tupac that has this kind of like inspirational thing, but it's not really. Actually, I don't know. This might be controversial to you or your opinions. I'm not sure, but like I would say John Lennon is similar. Very little of his music is inspirational. I mean, people want to crucify me for that, but I mean positive. Uh, plenty of people are inspired by Tupac and John Lennon, but positive. It's very hard to find a John Lennon song that's truly truly positive. I mean, can you think of any?
Um, I mean, not really. Um, but I know he was also like talk about like I don't know if shitty person is the right word, but I know he was very abusive to I believe like his first wife.
Yeah, I did read a biography of his called John, and it was written by Cynthia Lennon, his first wife, and she didn't like trash him, but she really, you could tell she was hurt, and she did, you know, um, what's the word, praise the parts about him that are great, but then she said all the stuff that he did later on that she thought was pretty crummy. And is it biased? Of course, but how do you learn about someone in a completely unbiased way? It's kind of hard. Of course, then I could read Yoko's perspective, and I'm open to that as well. But yeah, as a person, what I've learned about him is, he's just a flawed human being, like all of us. It's just the weird thing is that he's a flawed human being artist who's a good songwriter who just got a lot of uh, like credit or attention. I would say in an unhealthy, imbalanced way. Like if he's just another guy doing his thing, fine. But for so many people to pay attention to him and like focus, oh, you're so great, your messages are so great, when he's battling his demons and he's just trying to like get out of it. It's a little weird. Like even imagine, uh, I can't say it's a positive song. I don't say it as positive. I can imagine at the time, people are like, yeah, yeah, peace. The world will be peaceful. But when I hear Imagine, they say, and sorry if I'm getting just kind of going all over the place here, but
It's okay.
uh, like the chorus, right? You may say, and I sang it so many times, so I I know the words very well. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. So I can imagine listeners at that time, 70s, post Vietnam, or like the 60s, where have this dream of peace, and then like the reality, Watergate, and like wow, Vietnam was just like a big mess, and like people feeling mixed, and like what happened to all that peace and love, where'd it go? You know, our government sucks, or whatever feeling was going on. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you will join us and the world will be as one. So I don't know, if you're not paying attention, it's easy to miss it. But he says, I hope someday you will join us, and then the world will be as one. But since you didn't join us, that's the problem. That's really, the feeling I get. It's not like let's stand together as one. We're all human, love
Yeah.
one another. Let's grab each other, brother to brother. No, you might think I'm a dream, but because you don't have the same dream as me, we're still not at peace. That's really the vibe that I get. Um, I know whatever. I'm nitpicking here, but because it's such a big song that's praised all the time, I feel it's worth
Yeah.
pointing that nuance out.
I mean, I think in a lot of ways he's actually like Kanye West, flood person, like you said, battling, his own demons, you know, done some questionable things, but, great music at the end of the day.
Yeah, a very incredible, unique artist, right? Who left a big track record of things we could learn from, for better or worse, and great music. But like a good test of like if the music is positive or not is I show it to Kai, my son, and if he's like, Dad, this kind of brings me down, and I was feeling that way too originally, and I didn't get tell him one way or the other. And I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, you're right. This is actually not that, because he still has that pure sensor of for just the energy of the music, you know. And it's not just because it's not a genre thing. If whatever genre, if it feels uplifting, then it is, And death metal could be uplifting too. But anyway, yeah, it's just fascinating. So do you see a distinction between hip hop and rap?
Um, I mean, not really. I
No.
mean, I think in a lot of ways, like rap could maybe refer to like older music and hip hop is more like, like newer music. But to me, there's really like no distinction.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. Um, I would probably make a distinction, but whatever. Yeah, interesting. Um, and rock. So when you listen to rock, like the artist you named, Nirvana, Led Zeppelin, uh, what do you get What do you get out of that? Listening to that?
I mean, I just like the music, you know. I guess it's like alternative or like grunge.
The energy of it.
Yeah,
Hmm. So
a
do you,
bit like rebellious.
sure.
I like that.
Hmm. So do you pay attention to lyrics? Like when you're listening to rap or something, are you hearing the words, or it's more just like the overall vibe you take in?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times I do listen to the lyrics and, like especially when you brought up about like hip hop, like bringing down woman or like just showing off, and even in, I'll be honest, in a lot of Kanye songs, like he does that, especially like showing off. I mean, he's like notorious for that.
Right. Yeah. But of course, I guess people listen to him and artists like that because they want to hear how over the top he is with that stuff, right? Or any artist, right? That they're into. Eminem was always good at that, and I don't know, Method Man. So many of them. That's kind of like part of the art of rap is you gotta say you're the boss. Run DMC, okay, I'll give them a little bit of slack. They have something close to positive, I would say. Run DMC. Are you familiar with their stuff?
I mean, I've heard of them. I haven't really like heard anything.
Like Run DMC was the first. So I think the very first was Aerosmith and Run DMC. That was the very first mix of rap and rock ever. I think, which was like 89 or something like that, maybe 88. And it was cool. And it was a little bit corny, which is what made it positive because it's just more like they're doing their rap thing. They're kind of doing some clever lines. And then here comes Steven Tyler singing the chorus, walk this way. And it's back and forth. And that's, I would say, pretty safe to play for kids and not going to like harm our souls. And then Public Enemy, you're familiar with them? They're a rap group.
No.
They're a legendary rap group. Public Enemy, they were more uh, like F the police type of thing, like stand up against the police. Because there were like riots in LA when they were kind of coming up. And anyway, but they did it in a way that was kind of fun. Like, what's his name? You ever see the guy with the big clock on his chest? He's like the hype man. Flavor Flav. Anyway, Flavor
Yeah.
Flav was in Public Enemy, and I think Chuck D is the singer. I think, and they were maybe the second group. Anyway, on a big scale to mix rap with metal, and they did it. So Run DMC did it with Aerosmith, rap and rock, but then Public Enemy joined forces with Anthrax, a thrash metal band, in like 1990 or right about there. I think I'm the Man is the name of the song. Or no, Bring the Noise. Bring the Noise was the song they did. And it's not great, but it's Queens and Bronx or Queens and Brooklyn or something like that. These guys, these white guys playing metal, these black dudes doing their rap thing, and they come together on stage and make a lot of noise, and they make the space to like be heavy and rock out, and they make the space for the rap, and it's really cool. It's not the best song in the world, but seeing that merger was really cool. So I think that is like the bigger picture. So even if Anthrax's lyrics or Public Enemy's lyrics are not that great, the fact that these two, you know, polarities in a way, musically and socially, because certainly by 1990 it wasn't like the most harmonious white and black all the time at all, but they came together and respected each other's music, and so that was cool. I thought that, and also like rap and rocker, they like didn't see eye to eye for a long time. Anyway, just this conversation is going in a lot of different directions, which is cool. From AI to Kanye to rock. Uh, so yeah, so I'm curious. Do you have any hobbies to speak of besides I don't know, besides music and computers?
Yeah, I mean, I like video games. Like collecting vinyl records. I mean, I actually have Kanye's entire discography on vinyl.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you hunt it down, or how'd you end up acquiring that?
Yeah, so I bought like a lot of them like online, and a lot of them weren't even like officially pressed as his like album, so I got like some bootlegs too.
Nice. Wow. So do you have a decent uh, record player in the house?
I mean, honestly, I kind of just collect them. I do have an Audio Technica, I think it's called, but I
Mm,
don't play them. I just collect.
really? Okay.
Yeah.
I have this thing behind me. So that's an amplifier here, but this guy is a record player. So you want to come listen to the records, just bring him over and
Okay.
listen to your Kanye records here. It works. The speaker is it's just this built-in speaker. It's kind of old, that piece, but yeah, it's a little bit tinny, but it's cool. I listen to records. I have a record collection there. Not often. I actually do listen to cassette tapes often. I have a cassette tape player and a kind of boombox looking thing. Of course, I stream from Spotify and stuff as well, but I do have a big cassette collection that I continue to grow. Whenever I go to places that have used cassettes, I pick them up still. Um, okay, so collecting records, and
Reading too. I
what
like
was
to
that?
read. Reading?
Reading,
Yeah.
reading. Cool. What kind of genres?
Well, honestly, I just got I mean, I've had it for like the past couple of months, but I recently started to use my Kindle. Um,
Hmm.
and I mean, I haven't started to read yet on it, but I have the Shine In.
The Shining.
Yeah.
You're planning on digging into those. I think Shining is like 1,200 pages or something.
Yeah, I think so. I
It's
like the movie,
enormous.
so I
Yeah.
think I would like the book.
Oh yeah, I'm sure Stephen King's writing is really usually better than the movie. That's how good it is, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I know like a few of the differences too in the movie and then the book.
Mm. So when you're referring to the classic Jack Nicholson version of the movie, or
Yeah.
I imagine there was a remake at some point. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I think it was like a TV movie. No, I'm talking about the Kubrick original.
Okay, yeah, yeah. There's definitely a few things straying from the book, and obviously, such a long book, there's going to be huge sections that are not there at all, right? But
Yeah. Because in the book, the hotel actually burns down at the end, but at the movie, it doesn't.
okay, yeah, and I know, like, I think when he knocks down the door, it's not with an axe in the book; it's with something else, maybe.
Yeah, I think it's like a hammer or something.
Yeah, something about that scene's a little different. Um, but yeah, of course, it's always going to be a little different or very different from the book. I've read a few Stephen King, maybe not, maybe three. I don't know. I read Christine, you know that story.
I mean, I've heard of it. I
It's
never read it though.
yeah, it's basically about a haunted car.
Oh,
Yeah, and then I read The Running Man. I think it was. You ever hear about that?
no,
I think that's Stephen King writing under a pen name. I think Richard Bachman was his pen name. Uh, it's basically this contest or something like that, where if you win, I don't know, you get an enormous amount of money or something. But the thing is, you just run until you can't run anymore, and whoever stops running gets shot. So whoever the last man running wins, and you know that everyone that you're going against, either you or them, is going to be killed. It's pretty pretty intense. Before reality TV, I think it was written in the 80s or something.
it
Uh,
kind of sounds like Squid Games.
okay, maybe Squid Games was based on. I wouldn't be surprised. You know, yeah, Stephen King had a big influence, or at
Yeah.
least inspired by it, right? I see Rob Manetta is tuning in. He says, "Nice shirt" to me for some odd reason. Yeah, so Screwball is a awesome local rock band. I'm not sure, Rob, if you want to tell us the exact genre you're called, but I don't want to use the wrong term, but pretty hard hitting uh, rock band. And so anyway, Screwball is his shirt, and he was my previous guest on the last episode. So thanks for watching, Rob. Um, yeah, so that's cool that you had Rob and his band perform at the Garrettson Gather In last time, and then I think there was one in May in the spring too with
Yeah,
them.
April.
Cool,
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, and so what inspired you to get some local bands together?
I mean, honestly, I didn't really hear of Screwball until I think like later, like end of last year, earlier this year. I was just like on Spotify, and it was just, I think it showed up on my recommended page. Then I started listening to his music, and even like last year, he was actually Screwball and Irish Exit were actually on my Spotify Wrapped because I don't really use Spotify that much.
Hmm.
Um, so I just started, I started listening to their music, and I'm like, yeah, they're really good. And then I found out that he actually works at my mom's school, which I just thought was like pretty funny. It's such a small world.
That's great that you found out. I imagine that maybe you met him because your mom introduced you to some since they worked
Nah.
place, but no, but you found his music first. How cool is that? So
And
Rob,
and he's actually friends with Nick, the owner of Marine Park Coffee too. So, we know like,
yeah, small world.
mutual people.
Yeah, it works out nicely. So Rob Manetta says that Screwball can be called power pop, Indie rock, emo, whatever comes to mind first when people ask that. Yeah, exactly. You just got to let people name you the genre for you if you can't name your own genre, which I've faced in my life. But yeah, guys, go check out Screwball. And that's how do you spell that? Oh, spell like this, right? Screwbawl, which is a pretty cool twist. I think I checked out their bio on Spotify or something, and it said voted or like some guy, some critic named they're the most hardworking band in Brooklyn that are also Italian. They're on that list. So that
Yeah, I
was
definitely got to pick up that Krenek. It's, definitely seeing it. It's nice.
oh yeah.
I
Um,
I also want to pick up Ryan's new album on CD too, because I've been
right,
getting
Brian.
more into like collecting, like CDs and stuff.
Oh yeah, that's cool. So
Yeah,
Brian is the Irish Exit singer.
yeah, Ryan,
Oh Ryan, right. Okay,
Ryan Palmer.
Ryan Palmer. Yeah. So Screwball has a CD out,
Um,
right?
um, Irish Exit has it out.
Irish
It's their
Exit.
new
Okay.
album. Yeah.
Right, yeah. So I don't know if Screwball does too, but yeah, Irish Exit, another local band. Please, guys, go check them out. And while you're at it, yeah, Screwball, Irish Exit, and Celine Iris was the other artist at your event.
Yeah.
And I don't know if she has her new first single out yet, but it's forthcoming. Does she?
Um, no, I don't think so. She is
Yeah.
dropping an EP, she said, called Acid Kiss, I think in the next couple of months or so.
Oh, yeah.
And she's on like Spotify. I mean, all these groups are on Spotify, Title. Even
Yeah.
Cuba's, I think it's pronounced, which I recently found out about. It's like high fidelity streaming, kind of like Tidal, but in my opinion, it's actually like a lot better.
Oh, yeah. What's it called? Cupus?
Yeah, it's Qobuz.
Oh, okay. Cubos. Interesting.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, I have my music on all those as well. I'm not sure about that one yet, but probably will be on it soon. Um, yeah, so Rob Manetta says we need to throw the Brooklyn accent on when we're talking about Screwball. Screwball. You got to talk about Screwball with a Brooklyn accent, otherwise there's going to be a problem around here. That's my best. Yeah, it's funny. Um, so what about I don't know, any upcoming events you'd like to let people know about?
Yeah, so we have I mean, honestly, I should probably know the date. But on the Friday before Thanksgiving, we're having a movie night at Marine Park Coffee. It's a fall movie night. We're showing my cousin Vinny
Mm,
um at 5. And we
okay.
could be found on Instagram at Marine Park Young Adults. Pretty much all major social media, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, pretty much everything except for like Twitter or like
Okay.
X, it's called now.
So, so basically, I'd say look on social media for at Marine Park Young Adults.
Yeah, that's like our handle everywhere.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that shows my my age difference. For a while, I was attending a bunch of music DIY music conferences or professional musician conferences. People who want to, make in the business, or people like me who are uh, essentially professional but not making a living with it, like professional levels. But um, so I've been to a bunch of conferences, and there's social media. If you're a DIY, you got to be on social media, and even if you're a major artist, of course. But for me, I kind of I experimented, but I decided my sweet spot is to have my YouTube channel and Facebook, and that's it. I've had so many, but over time, I said no more Instagram for me, no more this, no more that. Because Instagram, I just felt was. I'm not saying anything that suggesting other people see it my way, but for me, it was just shallow. Like it inspired me to put out very quick, shallow content, which is you could work, you can get a following that way, but it was preventing me from doing the deep work that I want to do. Like if I'm writing books and stuff like that, or putting out albums, that takes deep work. And so anyway, Instagram's not for me, but I do know people in your age group, mid 20s, a little bit older and younger. Instagram is definitely a hot place to be. It
Oh
seems like,
yeah. And then
yeah,
now with like even the younger crowd, TikTok too.
TikTok
Forget
too.
about it. I mean, talk about shallow.
Right.
It's probably one of the most shallow platforms in my opinion.
Oh yeah,
I
for
don't think
sure.
it's the most toxic though. To me, I would probably say like Twitter, or like X. I
Oh
don't.
yeah,
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 that's one of the reasons I don't. I just do not use it.
yeah, because it's only like little blurbs, right? So it's people's
Yeah.
opinions, and yeah, I was never even the slightest bit tempted to get Twitter. I think I looked at it probably 15 years ago. I was like, no, sorry, but it works for some people, but not for me. Yeah, I've been through a few. I don't know if you remember LinkedIn. Is it? It's
Oh
that.
yeah. Yeah. I
Okay.
mean, I still use that,
Yeah,
or like MySpace.
yeah. Oh yeah, we had MySpace back in the day, man. My bands had all MySpace, and you had to be. And I was had bands in the mid 2000s, So, but yeah, Instagram is. I'm Facebook era, I like to have I could put a big post, and whether nobody reads it or not, at least I could write those words. But Instagram, you can't make a big long post. And
Yeah. I mean, it's really just like pictures, videos and stuff.
yeah, right. And
Yeah.
there's another what was that photo one that was like kind of like Instagram, but it was just with pictures. I forgot what that's called.
Tumblr?
Maybe, maybe. Whatever. Yeah, there was one other that maybe it just like came and went. I forget the name of it. It was a little different. I never got into it. Uh, yeah, I forget what it is. Um, cool. And what about uh, so yeah, is there some place people could find the date for that next event you were saying?
Yeah. So Instagram is probably like the best platform. I mean, it's the one where we have the most followers.
Okay,
Um, we're the most active on it, but it's the Friday before Thanksgiving.
okay. Friday before Thanksgiving. It's a so would you say it was a game night or
Movie night.
movie night, right? In keeping with the Italian theme, right? My cousin Vinny.
Yeah, oh yeah, classic movie. Um, it's on the 21st, November 21st at 5 p.m. Doors open.
Okay, cool. At Marine Park Coffee, right?
Yeah.
Nice. Cool. I could
And it
mention
might
it.
be like a Friendsgiving too thing. I'm gonna just talk with my board members, see what they think. Maybe like a
Mhm.
like a potluck, like bring whatever. I don't know.
That sounds good. Appropriate.
Yeah.
And is there a cover charge for that?
Yeah, so it's a $5 cover fee, and that pays for admission because we have to rent out the store from the owner. And it includes water and popcorn too. Or you could become a member of the association where it's around 35 for the year, and then all the events would be free until next August.
Okay, cool. And to do that, you just go to the website and there's a way to join at marineparkyoungadults.org to join.
Um, no, so there's actually I didn't set it up there, but if you're interested in joining, you could email us at info@marineparkyoungadults.org.
Cool. All right, cool. Well, it's been a pleasure talking, Sam. Anything else you'd like to share?
Um, no, not really.
Well, I appreciate it. I didn't know where we were going to go with in which direction, but because I tend to have on people who are, you know, active musicians or something like that, and uh, my, desire to speak to you was mainly because you were creating this like space for people to gather. I mean, that was like what made me say, "Well, it'd be good to speak publicly so you could show people what you're doing, and I could pick your brain on how you got to this." place, what made you, what motivates you to do it. And so I didn't know where we go, but we went into AI a little bit. We went into traveling and music, and then a lot about Kanye West. Kanye, if you're watching, Sam's one of your biggest fans here. You should give him some, at least come over and sign his records. That
I
would,
do. I actually do have his autograph.
oh, you do? Really? You met
I
him?
have a yeah. I actually have a signed vinyl.
Sweet. That must have been pretty cool.
Oh yeah,
You met him in
PSA authenticated
Oh
and
yeah,
everything. Yeah.
you met him in Brooklyn somewhere.
No, I just bought it online.
Oh, okay.
I have like a dealer I deal with.
Hmm. Sweet. What other records do you have besides Kanye's?
I mean, mostly hip hop. So I have some Travis Scott, Kendrick Lamar, Mac Miller. I mean, even just talking about artists that are like, not as talking about like, with like flexing and woman and stuff. I mean, Mac Miller he was pretty good. I mean, he's not alive anymore. I don't know if you've ever heard of him,
Yeah, I have.
but
I remember he was one of those young casualties, right? He was in his 20s when he passed.
yeah.
Yeah. So I did check out his music. Is something reminiscent of Eminem about him? Is that right? Does that sound, not that he sounds the same, but maybe his look reminded me of Eminem.
Yeah, I mean, he's a white rapper, so maybe.
Yeah. Uh, but yeah, I mean, yeah, I didn't get a negative vibe so much. I mean, I did in the sense that like he seemed kind of depressed maybe in the music.
Oh
If
yeah,
that cross,
yeah.
yeah. But it wasn't like the bragging, violent type. It was more like woe is me type of life sucks type of thing. I don't know. Does that sound right? That was my memory of it.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. He had depression, probably anxiety, mental health issues and stuff.
Hmm. But certainly a talented artist.
Oh yeah. He was only like 26, 27 when he died.
Right, right. And there was that ex Tentacion, that guy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, right. He was, I mean, just look at him. When I saw the video, I'm like, I think probably was aware of him before he passed away. I was like, this guy, what the heck is he doing, man? It was a little too violent in just in nature to me, but not to
Yeah,
judge him, but that's how it felt.
he was also apparently very abusive with like women and stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure himself as well, right? Abusing
Yeah.
himself. Yeah. But I think it was him. I think there was one other guy, Mac Miller, ex Tentacion, and like another young guy who died in that
Little Peep.
Little Pete, maybe. Yeah, I think it was Tentacion guy that uh ex Temptation, I don't know how you pronounce it. Um, his music was surprisingly calm. Yeah, I don't know, like it wasn't like this. What's his name? Who was that guy? It wasn't one of those like really fierce Busta Rhymes type of like spitting a lot of words at you with Busta Rhymes kind of a positive guy, but spitting a lot of words at you with aggression. It was more like this kind of depressed, whiny singing. I don't know, not to put him down, but do you remember his music, Extentacion?
Yeah, but some of his songs were actually pretty violent. I remember.
Yeah.
I mean, I never really
Um,
listened to him, but I know in like high school, like a lot of people used to like play him and stuff. So it was kind of just like always around his music and stuff. And
yeah,
yeah, some of his music, it was definitely like violent for sure.
yeah, yeah. It did definitely make me feel good. Maybe it's another guy, but there was one of those guys. I was surprised at how kind of tame it was, except it was just really, pessimistic and negative. But it was like this kind of quieter, melodic thing. I don't know. I forget one of those artists that passed away young. There's another one that I'm forgetting, not one of the ones that we mentioned, but whatever. But yeah, it's always I wrote a book. I don't know if you know, called "Mind Your Music," and it's about the importance of people paying attention to the music they listen to. Uh, you would think that's a given, but I think most people don't really think deeply about what they're listening to, And just
Yeah.
like health, just like eating, right? Like it's easy to just eat what you're given or what's in the environment. But if you don't feel so good, you could eventually, at some point in our lives, we say, well, maybe what I'm eating is affecting, you know. So I think music is the same thing, that music can have a big effect on our emotional well-being and our even our physical well-being. So the book divides music into light music, dark music, and gray area. And I suggest that most music that we ever hear is all gray area. And it's up to each one of us to decide what it is for us. I'm not telling you what specific song is for you, but to be aware that there is that sliding scale. And yeah, I saw that when artists are continually putting out music in that dark gray, unhealthy space, you could see the decline. A lot of times artists they have a tragic thing, you know. So I believe there's a connection, and of course people could be negative and live a long life. That's possible too, but I just seem to see a connection with that. Uh, Not that you want to listen to light music all the time, but or healthy music, but I recommend from my book that we listen to music that makes us feel good. You know, even if it's someone who's cursing, if we feel good and we know it, and that's good. Because you go to the supermarket, you go to the mall, you go to a shoe store, a sneaker store. I remember going to like Foot Locker, and the music, I felt like I was being attacked going in there. It's just like, that kind of like gangster rap. I'm like, I don't want to be here, man. This sucks. And if you work at some place like that and being hit by it all the time, it would have to affect you in some way, I believe. Anyway, uh,
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's one of the reasons why I listen to Kanye so much. I just like the music. It just makes me feel good. It like hypes me up.
right, and it doesn't make you feel bad.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
can you think of artists that you do feel bad when you listen to, or maybe genres or something?
Um,
As a contrast, not to point out like don't no, not to like badmouth any artist, but can you see that there's a difference?
yeah, I mean, a lot of country music I don't like. A lot of pop I don't really like.
Hmm.
Um, like artists like Sabrina Carpenter. Like, I mean, not to like, you know, it to me it's a like, like bubblegum pop, you know, stuff like that.
So, but does that make you feel bad, or just like so boring or something, or too
It's just
shallow?
very yeah, just yeah, shallow is a good word, just very generic, not really like innovative, I guess you could say,
Hmm.
you know.
Yeah, not thought provoking or whatever. Yeah, cool. But anyway, yeah, I think the main thing is just to uh, pay attention to what we're doing in the day-to-day lives, and I think that's also the theme of the the climate cafe is like what do we do on a daily basis so we can feel good about ourselves and feel good about the world we live in, you know. So I would put music in there, and of course movies and whatever we're reading. If anything's kind of like deadening our souls or making us mistrust each other, and then can we put in can we have inputs that make us more trusting and make us more heart opening, make us more loving to ourselves, to others, more hopeful.
Yeah, like I said, like you brought up, you know, the the Climate Cafe, it's kind of like a support group, just like-minded people who care about climate change.
Hmm. Yeah, I remember that one particular, the first one I went to at in August. I was
Oh
just really
yeah.
pleased that there's a lot of nice, warm-hearted people, and I really that day I was impressed with the way you led the meeting, which was kind of like a non-leading. You just like really allowed it to happen, and then you would step in and say, "Okay, now we're gonna do this. Now we're gonna do that." I'm like, "Wow, that's pretty nice." How you weren't heavy-handed about anything. You just let people speak, and it was a good vibe for sure.
Yeah, because I don't really try to micromanage things. I just kind of let people, have like, I guess you could say like autonomy, you know,
Hmm.
within, like reason, of course. you know.
Right. You don't want to lose the whole spirit of the thing, but
Yeah, as long as we're following the guidelines like I established, and we're just talking about the question at hand, I think it's fine.
mhm. Yeah, cool. So kudos. Thanks for the work you're doing in the world, Sam.
Thank you.
We appreciate you. We, my family here, and I'm sure the community at large. And yeah, man, I'm sure I'll see you before long in person since we live nearby and at one or another events.
Yeah.
And yeah, guys, check out the web links I have here, Marine Parking Adults website, and on Instagram and wherever whatever socials you may be on.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure, Samurai. Until next time, have a great night. And thanks,
You too.
guys. All right, take care.
Good night.